I was browsing the David Pakman Show subreddit this morning, which is just a few hundred subscribers from 30,000. You can join the discussion at davidpakman.com/Reddit. The user Blue Falsada or Falcata, sounding the alarm about what's going on in Brazil. Posting people in the United States and the world are sleeping on the humanitarian crisis happening in Brazil right now. Only country in the planet hitting 3,000 daily deaths right now. It is almost something biblical, as Sidney Powell would say. Brazil has elected a true genocide as president. I assume they mean a genocidal maniac. It would take a long time to explain the disaster, but he is single-handedly responsible for more than 300,000 deaths. He pushed hydroxychloroquine. He doesn't believe in vaccines, rejected 70 million doses for Pfizer. What's going on in Brazil is absolutely tragic. Brazil, I believe they even had 4,000 deaths in a day. But you know what's really, it's a tragedy what's going on in Brazil. But Brazil still has, as of now, a lower per capita case rate than the United States overall for the pandemic, and a lower per capita death rate than the United States. When you look at Brazil and you see how deaths are spiking and things are completely out of control, we handled this so much worse than Brazil for much of the pandemic during 2020 under Donald Trump's leadership or lack thereof, that our numbers pandemic wide are still worse than Brazil's. Now, because we're vaccinating so much and Brazil is going in the wrong direction, it's quite plausible that in 4 weeks or in 6 weeks, Brazil's pandemic numbers overall will be worse than ours. There's no question about that. But it's just incredible to think about that. Things were just such a disaster in the U.S. for so long that as bad as things are there, we're still worse off here overall if you look at deaths and cases per capita since the start of the pandemic. Another interesting post from user Harden1701, who says, I watched David talk to that Trump apologist woman earlier, and I have no idea how he maintains his composure while being confronted with such supreme ignorance and disinformation. Attached is an economic study which shows Trump had little positive effect on the economic boom during his tenure. Going on to say, apart from her delusions about how hands-on and CEO like Trump was, she said one thing that really pissed me off due to her gross inhumanity. She told David the immigration problem is no longer Mexican and Central Americans entering looking for jobs. She says the new challenge is 7-year-olds making their way to the border alone or with the help of coyotes and being dumped in the United States. Her very next statement was, if we don't solve this problem, it will have consequences for working American jobs. Does she mean from the 7-year-old unaccompanied minors? Yeah, I got a bunch of emails from the interview with Republican strategist Amanda Makki earlier this week, and many of them pointed out, David, you didn't push back on this. You missed that insane thing she said. I know. She was gish galloping me, and it's difficult to keep up. You have to pick your battles. You have to pick your battles. And so I focused in on her claims about Trump being responsible for the vaccines. I focused in on her weird claims about how Trump's COVID bills were bipartisan, but Biden's weren't. You have to pick your battles. And of course, I missed things, and I will try to do better next time. But I'm glad that so many in the audience noticed that there were way more things she said that made no sense than the ones that I was able to call out. Join the discussion at the David Pakman Show subreddit, davidpakman.com/REDDIT. One of our longtime sponsors is Vincero Watches, and I would love for you to support these guys. And right now, for a very limited time during their spring upgrade sale, you will save up to 30% off all of their products. Vincero only creates watches that are exceptionally crafted with a sleek, modern look, and they're sustainably made, which I love. I just picked up Vincero's Chrono S model in gunmetal and walnut. I love the simple design, the high quality engraving on the face. With the contrast of the dark leather strap, Vincero really does create what I think are visually beautiful watches. It's springtime. It's time to upgrade your look, freshen up your style. And a great quality watch like this is the perfect way to do it. They also have sunglasses, wallets, and bracelets, which are excellent. And for a very limited time, Vincero's spring upgrade sale is giving you up to 30% off all of their products. Just go to vincerocollective.com/David. The link is right underneath this video.